Imagine this. A group of Roman soldiers disappears after a huge battle. No one knows where they went. Years later, thousands of miles away in ancient China, people see soldiers fighting in a strange Roman-style formation. Is it possible that a lost Roman legion traveled all the way to China? Today, we explore one of history's most fascinating mysteries. The mystery. Our story begins in 53 BC. The Roman Empire was powerful and expanding. One Roman general, Marcus Licinius Crassus, wanted more glory and more land. So he decided to attack the Parthian Empire, which is in modern-day Iran and Iraq. Crassus led about 40,000 Roman soldiers into battle near a town called Carrhae. But things went very wrong. The Parthians were excellent horse archers. They attacked quickly and from a distance. The Roman army was not prepared for this kind of fighting. The result? It was a disaster. Crassus was killed. Around 20,000 Roman soldiers died, and about 10,000 were captured alive. These captured soldiers are the key to our mystery.
The Parthians did something interesting with their prisoners. Instead of killing them, they moved many of these Roman soldiers to the eastern border of their empire. This was far away, near Central Asia. The Parthians wanted these trained Roman soldiers to help guard their borders against enemies. After that, history becomes unclear. There are no clear Roman records about what happened to these men. They simply disappear from Roman history. But this is where China enters the story. In 36 BC, about 17 years after the Battle of Carrhae, Chinese records describe a strange event. At that time, the Han Dynasty ruled China. The Chinese army was fighting against a leader named Zhiji, a Central Asian tribal ruler. During this battle, Chinese historians wrote about enemy soldiers who fought in a very unusual way. They described the soldiers forming a fish-scale formation. This formation sounded very similar to the Roman testudo formation, also known as the tortoise formation. In the testudo formation, Roman soldiers stood close together and held their shields tightly in front and above their heads. This made them look like a turtle with a shell. It was a famous Roman military tactic. The Chinese had never seen this style before. So the big question is, were these soldiers actually Romans?
Now, the story gets even more interesting. After the battle, Chinese records say that some of these strange soldiers were captured and later settled in a place called Liqian. Some modern Chinese researchers believe that Liqian might be connected to the word legion. Even more surprising, in this village, some people have features that look more European than East Asian. For example, lighter hair, green or blue eyes, longer noses. Because of this, some people believe that the villagers could be descendants of Roman soldiers. In the 1990s and early 2000s, this theory became very popular. It even attracted tourists to the village. But is there real proof? To find answers, scientists conducted DNA tests on some villagers in Liqian. They wanted to see if the people had Roman or European ancestry. The results were interesting, but not clear proof. The DNA showed that some villagers had Central Asian ancestry, but Central Asia was a crossroads of many cultures for thousands of years. Many different groups passed through this area: traders, soldiers, nomads,
travelers along the Silk Road. So having some European DNA does not automatically mean Roman ancestry. In fact, there is no strong genetic evidence that directly connects the villagers to ancient Rome.
There are several challenges to the idea that a Roman legion reached China. First, the distance. From Carrhae to China is thousands of miles. It would have taken many years of travel through deserts, mountains, and dangerous territories. Second, historical records. Roman historians never mentioned a group of soldiers traveling that far east. Chinese records also do not clearly say the soldiers were Roman. They only describe a strange formation. Third, the fish scale formation may not have been unique to Rome. Other armies might have used similar shield formations. So, some historians believe this could all be a coincidence. Still, let's imagine how it could have happened. After being captured in 53 BC, the Roman soldiers were sent east by the Parthians. Over time, they may have been forced to fight for different rulers in Central Asia. When the Chinese fought against Jiji in 36 BC, these former Roman soldiers might have been part of his army. After Jiji was defeated, the Chinese could have captured these soldiers and resettled them inside China. It sounds like a movie story. But history is sometimes full of surprising journeys.
We must also remember the Silk Road. Even before it was fully developed, trade routes connected the Roman Empire and China indirectly. Romans called China Serica, meaning the land of silk. Chinese silk was extremely valuable in Rome. Although the two empires did not have much direct contact, goods and sometimes people traveled long distances through traders and middlemen. So, contact between Roman and Chinese worlds was not impossible. Most modern historians are careful about this story. They say there is not enough strong evidence to prove that a lost Roman legion reached China. It is an interesting theory, but it remains a hypothesis, not a confirmed fact. However, they also agree that the ancient world was more connected than we once thought. People traveled far. Armies moved across continents. Cultures mixed in surprising ways. So while the story may not be fully proven, it is not completely impossible either.
Why do people love this mystery so much? Because it connects two great ancient civilizations, the mighty Roman Empire, the powerful Han Dynasty. The idea that Roman soldiers might have marched under Chinese skies feels dramatic and exciting. It reminds us that history still has unanswered questions. Not every story from the ancient world is complete. Some mysteries remain. So, did the lost Roman legion end up in ancient China? We don't have clear proof. There are clues. Captured Roman soldiers, a strange shield formation in Chinese records, a village with unusual features. But clues are not the same as evidence. For now, the story remains one of history's greatest what-if questions. Maybe one day, new discoveries or new technology will give us a clear answer. Until then, the Lost Legion continues to march through the world of mystery.